until the August primary. Back with us this afternoon is Republican Senate hopeful John Brunner, who is taking some heat right now. How are you, John?
Hey, doing fantastic. Couldn't be better.
Can you feel the heat, though? You got people attacking you from the right. You have people attacking you from the left right now.
Yeah, bring them all on, all these career politicians. I tell you, we're making a big impact here in Missouri, and the people in Missouri are grateful that there's a choice here, somebody who's actually been in the workplace, been in the Marine Corps, want to take these things to Washington, D.C. and get the job done. I mean, can you believe it? Harry Reid enters into a Missouri primary race attacking me. And I just found out this morning Claire McCaskill has some ads in the primary race.
That's what I heard. Now, what does that tell you? They're attacking you. You've been critical, I think, of the other Republican candidates because of their votes for debt, but they're attacking you because when you were the CEO of Vijon, that you also obviously you used debt in that situation.
Yeah, you know, these folks have never been in a business and never understand how things work here. There's a big difference when there's personal accountability. You sign the personal guarantees. You go in, you make investments in plant and equipment, and you pay it off. This is an attack against success. It's an attack against free enterprise. I mean, I'm really surprised here that we have Harry Reid presenting the same attack as Sarah Steelman. I mean, everybody wants to tear down and destroy, and I'm a guy who wants to build up and create jobs. So it's just a different approach.
Do you think, here's one of the things that makes me uncomfortable about politics, John, and I know that you're trying to win a campaign, but when you go after your fellow Republicans, when you go after Sarah Steelman and Todd Akin for some of the votes that they were in, and they're negative attack ads, right? Are you comfortable with going that negative against fellow Republicans?
Here's the issue that I looked at here and why I'm in the race. Because, frankly, I lost confidence in some of these career politicians, and I lost confidence because of their voting record. You know, they say one thing and do something different. And so my whole focus has been just as Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify. As I've started to drill down and verify some of these issues here, this is what has caused a problem in our country. And, you know, I expect it on the liberals, but I don't expect it on the right here. And, you know, it's problematic here if we're going to get our country back on track. And all I'm trying to do is let folks across Missouri know that we need someone with a new set of eyes, someone with background in manufacturing. I've been a former Marine, as I mentioned before, to come in there and take charge of these issues and problems and get the job done. And the waffling on these particular issues, I mean, how can you be for someone like Treasurer Steelman, who's voted against tort reform twice, took $500,000 from trial lawyers, rallied with Jimmy Hoffa? You know, this is a problem that I have, and even my good friend Todd Akin voted to increase the debt ceiling, voted for Medicare.
Yeah, well, let's talk about voting to increase the debt ceiling, though, because a lot of people, a lot of members, and I don't have the whole list in front. There are very few that voted against the increase of the debt ceiling. The argument last summer was how you get there. We've had to increase the debt ceiling, unfortunately. I mean, you can argue the merits of that every year. It just becomes one of those things, sometimes more than once a year. So how do you avoid a vote on increasing the debt ceiling if you don't want the country to go into default?
Well, here's the issue. And again, my friend Congressman Macon voted it four times and voted against it. You know, I would be willing to get in there and step in and increase it under two conditions. If there was a dollar for dollar reduction in expenses for the revenues that they are needed, and as well as a balanced budget amendment. You know, you have to have parameters here. You just can't keep kicking the can down the road. You know, and what we've had here is a long series of poor decisions, and poor decisions limit future options. And our options are becoming more and more narrower. And so you got to go back to some of these issues here and saying, where did we get lost? And I don't know, I'm afraid, and people have asked me this all across Missouri. They said, John, what is it that people get involved in politics? They start out on the right foot, and then it seems like they lose their edge, they lose their focus, they get caught up. They said, is that going to happen to you? And I said, I tell you what, folks, I have 2 terms. If I can get the job done in 1, fine, but 2 terms and get home. We need the citizen senator, more like folks like Senator Tom Coburn. I mean, he came from medicine, he came from manufacturing. Man, what a hard-working guy, and he's limited himself to 2 terms.
I don't know if you know this, but I have him coming up here in the next segment. He's got a new book out called The Debt Bomb, and I'll ask him about you here in just a couple of minutes. Because
fantastic.
Yeah,
he's put out 600 600 pages of cost-cutting initiatives here. He is a tenacious, hard-working, fiscal conservative, and that's all he knows is to get up there and work hard and get the job done. I mean, he endorsed my campaign, as you know, along with Senator Ron Johnson, another manufacturer, 31 years in manufacturing business, never ran for the Senate before. He's a good, strong person, bringing these business skills to get the jobs back. So these are the kind of folks that say, John, we need some help. Work hard and get up here.
John Brunner is with me this afternoon. What'd you think of this?
If you got a business, that you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen.
The president in Roanoke last weekend. What was your reaction to that, John?
I mean, it'd be absolutely hilarious if he wasn't so serious. I mean, this is unbelievable. They do not have any concept of how to grow business in America. They have no concept of entrepreneurship. They have no concept that we need an American energy policy, that we need to roll back the red tape regulations, that we need a competitive tax rate and fair, flatter. At some point in time, you work hard, you try to inform your congressman or senator or people in office, and then sometimes you just have to say, I've had enough, I'm running for office myself.
Hey, you know what? You and I have talked now over the course of a year and a half. I don't think that I've ever heard you this fired up. You got lots of energy, Brunner.
Well, yeah, I do. I tell you what, when you see all these people piling on this race, you know I'm making some people...
Well, you're right about that, yeah.
I'm saying bring them on. Bring on all these career politicians. But yeah, I tell you what, the folks in Missouri can see the difference. And they're looking to elect a citizen senator and not continue to go down the same path anymore. I mean, who would have ever expected this? I mean, a guy, been working on the plant floor for 33 years, and here I am running for the Senate, getting around talking to folks across Missouri. I'm ahead of the polls, and this is the kind of leadership and kind of activity that we need if we're going to get this country back working again.
All right, John, I'm going to talk with Senator Coburn here in a couple of minutes. Thanks for coming back on this afternoon.
I'll be listening, and
all right.
Very much.
Excellent. I'm serious. I think I've never heard him that energetic, and I think he has a good point. You got people out there that are worried.